Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the KULT Divinity Lost role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Last week we had our session 0. Tonight we begin our first full campaign in the universe of KULT Divinity Lost. The Black Madonna was originally constructed by Gunilla Jönsson and Michael Petersen in 1991, with additional materials for the 2018 edition by Marco Behrman, Mathies Fredriksson, Robin Liljenberg, and Petter Nalla. KULT Divinity Lost is published by Helmgas. There is a link to their site in the description. I'm the Game Master, and this is episode 1. For the sake of brevity in the future, I will not go through all of the writers. Their names will be at the end credits. Also, I want our viewers and listeners to know that there is some harsh stuff in here. There is violence to adults, violence to children, organizations that are evil, symbols that have come to mean evil. There will be no toning it down or changing the artwork of the game. Bad things and bad people abound in KULT games. Please, if this offends you, I suggest you watch some other more cheery and optimistic games like Call of Cthulhu. Enough said. Without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. The brightness of your room makes the city outside your window seem black, and the soft pelting of rain sounds like the drumming of fingers waiting impatiently for someone or something to arrive. The wet pavement reflects the streetlights like halos on the ground, and in the distance, the nighttime city reflects off the Ossenalster, one of the many man-made lakes of Hamburg. Hamburg is an old merchant city on the water. Hundreds of years ago, it was an important part of the Hanseatic League, which dominated trade in Northern Europe. Today, the busy ports on the Elbe River serve a seemingly endless queue of container ships. The rows of loading cranes stand like colossi in the dim evening light. Located in the city's center is St. Michael's Church, named after the Archangel Michael. The church's doorway features a statue depicting the angel, spear in hand, casting down the devil. Its 132-meter high Baroque spire rises above the city and reminds the populace God is always watching. But who believes in God anymore? It's September 14th, 1991, about 7 p.m. You are here in the city because you have an invitation from the German Authors Association inviting you to their annual Golden Plaque dinner. It's not far from your hotel, and you have about an hour before you need to be there. Petra, you have a very nice suite of rooms. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
The suite of rooms is luxury, the nicest hotel in Hamburg, fine linen sheets, a nice little sitting room area separate from the bedroom that Petra's set up as kind of a quick office if she needs it. Big, large floor-to-ceiling windows looking out over the city. It's just very luxurious.
John, you're staying somewhere a little more affordable, just down Gerlitzstrasse. What's your place like?
Pretty much the antithesis of everything that Petra just described. So if it could be IKEA type furniture for the time, it's mass produced, fairly cheap furnishings. It's one room. You have to swear and shout and punch the toilet before it flushes. It's pretty much the cheapest as cheap can be, but without being a health hazard.
Ingolf, you've just stepped out of the shower in your hotel room. What are you planning on wearing tonight?
Normally I don't dress up a bit, and I don't believe fully in dressing up too nice. I don't like that the rich people about make us all dress up fancy. So I'm dressing down a bit probably from everybody else around, but I'll still wear a nicer shirt and a tie, at least. But I'm not going to wear a vest or a suit jacket.
Okay. Dietrich, you seem to be located across the street from an adult club of some sort. It's called Sicher Heitswort, the safe word. How are you getting ready for tonight's event?
Selma and I have a sort of protocol for this kind of event. You know, we criticize each other's outfits until they seem all right. It's lint flicking, whether there's lint or not. Maybe some planning about anyone in particular we know we might need to avoid or schmooze, and fortifying cocktail before we call a car if it's a car distance, or set out on foot if it, as in this case, I believe it's walking distance. We're all downtown.
It is walking distance, but it is also raining.
Then it'll be a taxi.
Right. Professor Bowen, it is raining pretty hard outside at the moment, though it's not really too cold. How are you planning on getting to the Rathaus?
Well, I know it's a bit of an extravagance, but I thought I could get a taxi. I wouldn't usually, but
There's plenty of taxis in this part of the town, so.
Yes, and it's sort of a holiday, isn't it? So I can justify that.
And Dieter, you enjoy a good meal, and Hamburg is a safe enough city for you, and it's night. But you have a funny feeling, just like you always do. There are eyes everywhere, and who knows who's watching. What are you hoping for this evening?
I am hoping to be heard a bit more by the people trying to make more contacts. That's what I'm hoping out of this. And I just hope it goes smoothly as well. I don't want any issues, because then I feel like I have to deal with those issues, and I want a nice, peaceful night.
So what are your chief concerns then?
I've never been to where we're going, so I have not a clue what their security is like. So it's going through my head. Is there a breach in that security? I'm no professional, but I still have those concerns. I break the rules a bit, but I just don't want anyone to get hurt. Gotta go smooth. Gotta have a good impression. If stuff goes down, stuff goes wrong, then that could lead to a bad impression and no jobs for me.
So the time comes, and by one way or another, either walking with an umbrella, the rain lets up a little just before you're ready to go. Some of you walk, some of you take cabs. You arrive at the Hamburg Rathaus, which isn't that far down the street. It's a big, imposing, beautiful structure, all lit up and sparkling in the rain. The venue itself is the beautiful Hamburg Rathaus ballroom. The building's main lobby is crowded with prominent Hamburg authors, publishers, and socialites. As you walk about and socialize, you notice your friends, your acquaintances, and you sort of form a group. So you all see each other. say there's a lot of people milling about. They're sort of spread out right at the moment in the Rat House. The ballroom is being made ready for the dinner and the awards presentation. What are you all doing? The noise, the din of the place is quite loud at this point.
Are there drinks circulating on trays?
Yeah, there are drinks on trays.
Right. So a continuation of the pre-game, Selma and I will be sort of at 60 degrees to each other, shoulder to shoulder, and pointing out, reminding and asking, is that so-and-so? We have to, you can't, that's that little troll from Vienna, so on, sort of preparing ourselves for social interaction.
Your wife suddenly grips your arm, and she looks very excited, and she's like, Dietrich, look over there. That's Hildegard Neff, famous actress. She's been in. She was in Three Penny Opera. She was in Das große Liebesspiel. I didn't know there were going to be celebrities here like that.
I wonder what her literary connection is. That's interesting. What's her Liebesspiel? Did we see that?
I think it translates as the call girl. It's the name of the movie.
Worth cultivating? Deep pockets?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure she's rich. She's famous.
Do we have any connection?
I'd so love to, meet her and tell her that I've enjoyed her movies.
On the invites, do we have assigned seats, or is it for dinner?
No, you don't really have assigned seats. There are circular tables.
So we should choose some neutral parties and not get stuck with anybody odious.
So, Ingolf, as you are wandering about across the hall, you see a gentleman that you think you recognize. He was an artist a number of years ago. His name is Philip Kramer. As you recall, he was sort of one of those upcoming artists, but he kind of got in with drugs and alcohol and went downhill really fast. He's probably in his 60s or late 50s at this point. You actually shook hands with him years ago when he hadn't gone off the deep end. But he's sort of mingling around. You can't help but see him. He's dressed not unlike you're dressed. He didn't dress up, he sort of dressed down, but he's a little bit shabby. I mean, even his hair is he looks like he's been using drugs, and you've heard there's been scandals about him. But before you can really do anything about it, he sort of mingles off into the crowd. And then you notice Hans Sauer, one of your publishers.
Yes.
From that place that I'm not going to try to say in German.
Night Stories.
Yeah, Night Stories.
In English.
Yeah.
I'll pick up a champagne flute from the trays of drinks going about, and I'll walk over to him.
He's got his champagne flute. It's not a champagne flute.
Well, I had a feeling
Eckhart.
you would. A feeling you'd make your way here, Zauer. How are you tonight?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's good to get out of Berlin every once in a while, don't you think?
Indeed. Surprised you're all the way over here in Hamburg.
No, it's not too far of a trip.
It's not about 3 hours, would you say?
Yeah, about.
You have How's your current book going?
It's coming along. You know, you know how the process is sometimes. You got to wait for the right inspiration to strike before you can make great strides of progress.
It's true. You got to wait for the money to start flowing too before you can do anything.
Yes. Speaking of the business side of the art, how is the English translation work coming along for A Requiem for Isabel? It's been a while since we chatted about that.
I mean, I don't know exactly at what point it is at this point, but then again, it's a nice evening. Let's not talk too much business. Give my office a call, on Monday. And, we'll talk about it.
Of course. Enjoy your evening.
Let's see. John, as you're mingling about, you see a few people here and there that you recognize, the same as everything else. You see a woman, Irene Adler. She's a retired editor for Survey Germany. She's done a lot of writing. Some of her articles are very well written. She's kind of, I don't know, you'd say somebody who you can admire their work. She's been retired for a while, so she's probably in her 60s. She's dressed very nicely, walking about. She sees you. John, I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, always keeping busy, going wherever the story is. How's things been your end?
Oh, nothing much. The life of a retired woman is rather boring. I work in my garden, but I still like to come to these events and see what's going on.
I'm somewhat envious having all that time on your hands, not having to rush around all over the place and finally have time to relax and enjoy life.
Well, sometimes I feel like you don't really get anything done unless you have a deadline.
They are great motivators.
Yeah, you procrastinate a great deal. So has anything new happened in your life? Are you married yet, or?
No. Always keep searching for that one person. Yeah. One day I'll find her again.
And you have a nice conversation with her. She's a lovely woman. Petra, as you walk about, you focus in on people who are, the important people in the place, the people with money, the people that might be able to provide you with leads here and there. You see a gentleman named Nicholas Grossel that you recognize. He's probably among the top 100 richest people in Germany.
I'll take a glass of champagne and amble over there just in a friendly way. If he's not in the middle of having a conversation, I'll introduce myself. Mr. Grossel, I've heard a lot about you.
Oh yes, Petra, wasn't it?
Yes, Ziegler, yes.
How are you tonight, Miss Ziegler?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing quite well. Could you remind me again what sort of business? I recognize you, but I don't recall from where.
Fashion.
Yes, I should have guessed. You're dressed in a very lovely manner.
Yes, we get all of the finest imports from America and West Europe over at the Black Cat. All kinds of delightful imports.
Delightful.
Yes.
Anything, how shall we say, I understand. I understand what you're saying. So if somebody were to want to obtain these things, we just come over there and see you, yes?
Of course, we have men's fashion, all sizes, all styles.
Excellent. I'll have to take you up on that perhaps
Excellent.
soon. Professor Hines. You're looking across the room of people, and you see that damnable Sir Gordon Leverage, his pompous little entourage. What do you do?
Oh, I mean, this is a long-term gambit, really, but I'm going to start the proceedings by just standing across the room quite quietly with my drink and establishing eye contact and rapidly moving from just general eye contact to an accusative stare, through the accusative stare into the Paddington Bear hard stare, beyond that into the cold dead stare. I know, and he knows that I know, so I'm not going to make a scene straight away. I'm gonna let this bubble.
Sort of. Well, I'd say that you're partly effective, because after a few moments, his eyes make contact with you, and he pretends to not notice you, but his eyes keep glancing back over at you, and the smile on his face as he's chatting with his friends slowly turns to a straight.
Yeah, I'm maintaining an impassive, dead stare throughout this. I'm not bothered if he turns away or not.
You are definitely distracting and irritating him, and he's trying very hard not to let you get to him, but you are. So
good,
you are
not
doing
bad
quite
for opening salvo.
Dieter, you're concerned about the security of the place. So your eye is looking in directions that most people aren't looking. The room itself is fairly simple structure-wise. It's a long, large rectangle with a few doors. There's no upstairs to it, though the height of the roof is about, probably 30 feet up. It's a big room with domes. There's one main door entrance, and then there's doors on either end, and there's probably places where they're cooking food and stuff. But as you are looking around the room, large crowds like this make you just a little bit nervous, especially when the room is so brightly lit. It's too easy to spot people across the room. And in fact, you spot someone across the room. They're all the way down at the other end. You see them, and you're not exactly sure who it is at first, but it's a gentleman. He's dressed a little more like security than he would be, dressed like a guest.
Okay.
You're not exactly sure of his name, but you've seen him before, and you think that he might be Russian, and he might be involved in the black market. He's not a boss. He's a shady, sort of henchman-like character, which could make you think that there might be some Russian mafia here tonight in the crowd, which is not great if with your background.
Mm-hmm. I keep my composure. I kind of just keep my cold, dead eyes, and I walk towards the man. I grab a drink, or I just walk past it. I walk past him, and then just get a
Well,
glance.
I gotta say, you guys are at the opposite ends of the room. You'd have to walk all the way over.
Yeah,
It'll take you 5 minutes to walk to where he is.
that's fine. I won't go all the way towards him. I just want to get a bit closer because I want to get a proper glance because I need to see if I can visibly see a weapon because that will confuse me.
Okay.
Well, make me a bit more paranoid about this whole situation.
Do you want to observe a situation?
Yeah, I will observe. Yeah, that would probably be my thing. As soon as I'm in range, yeah, observe. Let's see. That's 16 overall.
16. You can ask me 2 questions, the ones that are on the...
Well, what seems hidden from me is...
You know your stuff. So when you're looking at him and you're pretty sure he's armed.
Yeah.
You think probably if the gun's here, it's a shoulder belt. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the gun definitely inside of his jacket.
Okay, so no, from my knowledge, because that's how I have my gun.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be even more concerned from that. And yeah, due to my paranoia, I'm not actually going to ask a second question. I'm going to leave it blank.
Okay, you're not going to ask the second question. No. Does that mean you hold the question? Is that what happens, Matthew? Or
I was just having a look to see if that was the case.
I'm unsure if it does hold. I think it just disappears.
Yeah, because it says about the current situation.
Yeah,
so
right.
I presume as he moves forward, then it would no longer be the current situation.
Okay.
It would be a different role.
So you probably avoid him noticing you, which makes the most sense. So at 8 o'clock, everyone goes towards the tables, and the tables are solid oak. They're decorated with white silk tablecloths and candles. There are livery-clad waiters that dart back and forth with trays. You all find the same table and sit at it. They serve salmon pate and roasted venison, followed by apple tarts and sorbet. And the din of people's voices changes pitch. It drops down a little bit. People get a little more quiet, but you can hear the sound of food plates and glasses clinking and so forth. And you're all sitting at the same table. Did you want to talk to each other, or shall I just continue?
I assume that I'm going to have sort of grabbed a hold of Petra, and that my wife was probably going to have grabbed a hold of Ingolf Eckhart. And then, because I don't know everyone here, but that'll be, we'll start those links.
Okay.
And I'll ask Petra if she saw the movie star and if she, has any dirt on her or knows what she's looking for. Because Petra knows what people want.
That's true. She does. So anyways, by the time the award ceremony is about to start, you are all sitting at the same table. The award ceremony begins, and it's got a bit of fanfare that goes with it, and there's a lot of polite applause, and there's a few people reading their poetry, and then they announce the winner of the poetry. I mean, the Golden Plaque Award goes to Leon Schutz. It's you guys barely know who this person is. In fact, you might not know. People, people talk about him now that the sort of ceremony is over, and the ceremony is finished. But the evening is still young. After a short period, they start moving some of the tables, and band comes in and starts playing music, and people start once again mingling and dancing and carrying on. The gathering starts to spread out. People get up from their tables and they move into the various other rooms at the Rathaus. And the evening goes on very nicely. And as the time goes on, people are people are comfortable, people are dancing, people are getting a little drunk. There's plenty of alcohol going around. But around midnight, people have started to file out. People are leaving, people are going, and you're just sort of gathering yourselves for the evening, deciding what you'd like to do afterwards. If you want to do anything at all, the nightlife in the city is still going at full force. When a few of you notice moving across the room and sitting down at a table are three gentlemen and a woman. The woman has her back facing towards you. She has black hair. She's in a blue and gray dress. The three gentlemen look like they're probably in their late 50s, early 60s. Ingolf, you notice that one of them is Philip Kramer. You saw him earlier this evening. As they're talking, and they're quite a ways away from you, so you're seeing this, at a distance. You can see they're chatting, animatedly about something. Kramer, his eyes are sort of drifting around the room, and his eye suddenly sees you. It locks on you. And you can see his head sort of turn to the side for a moment. And then his eyes go wide, and he grabs one of the men next to him and says something. That man then turns and looks towards you. And then the third man also looks. They say something to one another. And they look either angry, upset, or nervous. You can't quite tell.
Could I do read a person?
Sure. And which one are you trying to read? Oh, it's probably Kramer.
Yeah. Uh, 12.
So a regular, you can ask me one question.
What do you wish I would do? They're all looking at me. What is it that Kramer is wanting me to do? Go away, go over to them?
I would say he definitely wants you to stay right where you are. Because as they look at you for just a few more moments, they suddenly turn and say something to the woman and get up and put their jackets on and start heading towards the door. And as they head towards the door, they keep glancing back at you. Now, you're not sure whether they're looking directly at you or somebody behind you or just the table in general, but they do seem to have seen something they didn't particularly like, and out the door they go. Now, when this has happened, when they've left, the woman stands up and she starts to look around, and she turns and she sees your table. And as she does, you all recognize her. This is Magda Orlova. And she sees you, and at first she looks a little confused, and then she gets a delighted smile on her face, and she starts making her way towards you rather gracefully across the floor. She's dressed in a blue and gray gown, very a little outdated, a little elegant. It comes all the way up to her neck and all the way down to her hands and all the way down to the floor. Her hair is obviously dyed because she's in her 60s, you know that. And as she approaches, you get the distinct impression that she looks a lot older than she did the last time you saw her. You saw her about 2 years ago, maybe. And she looks pretty worse for wear. Now, her makeup is impeccable and her hair is perfect and her clothing is immaculate, but she looks tired. She looks quite drawn out, but she's smiling. She's acting very much, darlings, how wonderful to see you all. And she comes over, and I imagine the gentleman at the table will stand up, and she gives you a little peck on each cheek, and she goes around the room. Petra, you're a woman, you stay seated, and she puts her hand out like this and gives you, a shake. And Dieter, when she gets to you, she's like, Dieter, I haven't seen you for years. How are you doing?
I'm doing perfectly fine. What is it, 30 years?
It's been a while. And she gives
Yes.
you a fairly strong. How old are you? Wait a second.
He's 54.
Okay, he's 54. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, wait, aren't you 30?
Yeah.
She says, it's been a long time. You're looking very nicely. Very nice.
You're as splendid as ever.
But how wonderful you're all here. How lovely. You're all living in Hamburg?
No. I came down from Berlin.
All the way from Berlin. Oh, that's lovely. I've just moved back to Hamburg in the last few months. I was living in Berlin for a while there after the fall of the wall.
So I've got the same old place in Schöneberg.
Oh, the shop.
By. Yes.
I should drop by. That would be lovely. Now, by this time, you've also all noticed something else. Magda, her favorite perfume, whether you knew it or not, was always Mouget de Bois. It's a French perfume, expensive. Smells like lily of the valley. It's very sweet, and she seems to be wearing a lot of it tonight. It precedes her by a few feet when she moves around. And she sits down at your table. So you must tell me all about what you've been up to in the last few years. It's so nice to see you.
This and that. Business is good. How have you been, Magda?
Oh, I've been well enough. I haven't been doing any writing lately, but as I say, I moved here to Hamburg a few months ago. It's just been just living my life, I suppose.
And what how are you keeping yourself in Hamburg? Just the old family jewels, or are we opening a shop here? Is there?
No, I had a shop in Berlin, but it closed up a year or so ago. I've moved out here. I'm just staying in an apartment out here. I actually have an apartment in Berlin still, which I maintain, but I'm staying here for now. We should all get together and have lunch and enjoy our, get to know each other all over again.
Yes.
Sean, you have, there's something wrong with Magda as you're looking at her. It's almost as if you can sense that there's something wrong, maybe health-wise. As if there were a kind of darkness around her. The kind of thing when somebody maybe has cancer, or, you know, she's very good at acting as if everything is okay, and she's not the kind of person that would want to share her personal problems, but there's just an air about her that makes you feel like something very unhealthy about her. She definitely looks 10 years older than the last time you saw her.
Sound good. Read a person?
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh, my dice like me for a start. That'd be a 16.
Very nice. 2 questions.
Right. How do you feel right now for the first one?
Oh, you know, darlings, I've been so tired lately. I haven't been able to sleep very well. Nightmares. I was hoping that moving back to Hamburg for a while, out of Berlin, but my nightmares, ever since I moved back to Berlin, have been getting much, much worse. And I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I wake up in the morning and I'm very, 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 very tired.
Okay, I'll cash in my interrogator advantage and ask, is there anything that she's lying about to us?
No.
Okay. And last one. Yeah, what do you wish I would do? So what's kind of the motivation for her coming over to us?
Well, when she says that she would really like to get to know you all again, to be friends, she's quite honest. She'd love to rekindle friendships and perhaps a little old flames. Looking over at Dieter. Although she's, she's not exactly a young spring chicken anymore, but and Dieter, of course, your relationship with her was very short,
Yes.
a long time ago,
and caused the dissolving of my own marriage. So,
but she, she's being sincere.
Fair enough. Well, I'm certainly not going to turn down the offer to go to lunch. So,
Magda, I didn't realize that you also knew Philip Kramer.
You didn't?
No, it's been so long since I've seen either of the two of you. And
darling, I was married to him.
yes.
Oh, that is quite news to me.
It wasn't a very good marriage, but Philip's been one of my oldest friends since I was a child, back as far as I can remember. And, people growing up together, eventually, sometimes you try to make a go of it with marriage. In fact, it was shortly after my little fling with Dieter that we decided on it. It was also, it's not the first time I was married either. My first husband passed away. He got some horrible disease and passed away, and then I sort of recovered from that, and I had a little fling with Dieter, and then I decided to have a go at it with Philip, and it became very, shall we say, dangerous. We we weren't good for one another on a day-to-day basis. So it lasted a while, and then we broke up, and then I moved away, and time went by, and a few years, after the fall of the wall, we sort of thought that we'd all get together again and just be friends.
Well, I feel, as artists, I always feel a kinship with my fellows, and you're a writer yourself, and
he's had a lot of problems.
Yes. He's definitely had his struggles, but I haven't seen any of his recent work. But he,
there's been no recent work at all.
Mhm.
No, the drinking and the drugs and the Satanism has kind of done him in.
Satanism?
No, yes, he's tried a lot of things in his life, and I don't know that he's even into that anymore, but he Satanism.
Well, I guess it has been far too long since I've talked to either of you, and since I am so surprised by these things.
Well, you probably knew him before he started all the drinking drugs.
Yes, that is. I mean, as young as I was, and as young as I very much still am, always good to meet people who are in the business, whether they do cover art or what have you.
Indeed.
I'm not really familiar with the man's work. Was he, stylistically, what was his strength?
Well, he was sort of a neo-impressionist, surrealist, I guess you'd say, kind of combination of those. He had a few pieces that were shown, and then, like I say, once a person starts to deteriorate, in the art world, it's really about who you know and who you can impress. And you have one too many drunken debacles at an art show, and that's pretty much the end of your career as far as that goes. Not sure if there's anything in a museum anywhere of his. I mean, he's not that famous any longer.
Well, and of course, a lot of the more eccentric creators aren't recognized when they're around to do more work, but succumb to these devils while they're young, and someone discovers them decades too late.
Well, if he follows in the trend of many artists, then perhaps that'll be the case. He'll be famous after he's dead. And I don't know how much, if he continues with the alcohol and drugs, and he doesn't seem to be letting up much. He's always nervous and always, paranoid of things. But that's
Petra, you've got your finger on the pulse. Is there a market for his work, this Kramer fellow?
Yes, I think there might be. I believe so.
Or damaged artists, maybe.
Is it atmospheric enough to make a good statement piece in a shop that sells esoterica? Or is it a little too scary and off-putting for commoners?
It's not really particularly scary. It's rather plain and abstract, I don't know. I can talk to him about it, see if he would be interested. Do you have a card? I can give you my card as well.
Yes, of course.
But you know where I am.
Yeah, I'm at the same old place and even the papers, but yes, you can. So about getting together, I'd love to see your current digs. I'm sure they're magnificent, but I was planning to return to Berlin in the morning, of course.
Oh, well, you sure you can't stay a day or two?
I'll talk to Zelma.
Hamburg is a lovely town.
Yeah, I haven't spent much time here. If you feel like, the weekend hasn't already been too much.
Well, I am very tired. Perhaps we could do it tomorrow, but perhaps we could get together for breakfast in the morning.
I
Or
don't see why.
perhaps you want to sleep in. Dinner tomorrow, maybe. Are you driving or are you taking the train?
We expected to be driving back tomorrow, but again, Selma can take care of that. She's going off to chat with that young fellow with the boutonniere. I'll see what her mind is about it.
All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk to her about or ask her?
Magda, it's been such a long time, and I just like it brings back a lot of memories just seeing this. But how are you? How are you feeling, Liz? You feeling good?
Well, I'll admit, that I'm feeling my age. I'm getting old, and
Yeah, aren't we all?
I've been consulting with a few doctors to see if they can help about my sleep deprivation.
I'm sure there's something for you.
It's quite nasty, these dreams. And they're not easy to remember. I only remember vague bits and pieces from them. I'm always trapped somewhere in the dark, and I'm small. I don't feel large. I feel small. And there's always something out there menacing. And then I wake up, and that's about all that I can remember. And I feel as if I haven't slept at all.
Well, it's hard, but it is hard these days to not feel trapped. That's right.
Indeed.
But
Oh
I hope you can get the help, and I don't mind staying a couple of days. I can spare a couple of days for an old friend.
Well, let's meet tomorrow. There's a little coffee shop called the Bluebell. And it's just right in downtown. You can't miss it. And we'll just, let's meet around 1:00.
Yeah, that's fine by me. It's
Be lovely. But if you'll excuse me, I am very tired. I want to go back to my apartment and retire for the evening. So thank you so much. And she gives you all kisses, and off she goes. What would you like to do next?
I need a drink.
She seemed a
Don't
little
you like-
off.
Yeah, let's get a short round. I thought she looked like she'd been freeze dried and reconstituted, poor thing.
The thing is, Magda's always been a bit off.
Yes, but
She's more off. I know what you're on about.
I feel like
Wait,
she's
no.
aged 10 years in two. It's not a good look.
It feels weird seeing her. It's been a long time, and not fond memories, and not so many fond memories come from seeing her again. But
Dietrich, you should try to stay another day. I'm sure Selma wouldn't mind.
Well, the 1:00 meeting is perfect. If Selma gets impatient, she can leave in the morning, and if she doesn't get impatient, then she can stick around. Either way, there's a train.
I'm sure I'm sure your wife won't mind one extra day, surely.
I can tell you this: if she thinks that there's a chance it'll get us a connection to Hildegard Math, then she'll give me carte blanche.
Let me tell you, Dietrich, you were asking me about her earlier. Let's just say I heard a little something. She was quite well cast as the call girl. She brought a lot of realism to the role, if you know what I mean.
Mum's the word, but I think I have a sense of what you mean.
Yes, I think we should get around. I for sure want the whiskey.
Tom, I sent you a message to do that before she leaves.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, wow. 18 plus 3, 21.
21. Wow. I'm not sure.
That's assuming that the criteria is met in the first place. If it isn't, then don't worry, then nothing happens.
Eckhart. The dissolute painter
Oh,
she
I
was
see.
married to. Any good?
Just Matthew. John. As she is leaving the room, there's something around her, like a crack in, like a halo, like a change in the light, but not a pleasant halo, like something hellish is looming around her. You don't know if it's the idea that maybe she's got some horrible disease that she's dying from. But she's definitely putting on airs to keep you and everybody else from realizing that she is in a lot of pain and a lot of distress. She's good at hiding that. But you can see it's there. You can see there's something really, really wrong.
And it's something tangible as well.
It's something tangible. Yeah. So her presence it doesn't irritate you. It bothers you a little more than it does everybody else, but you definitely think there's something wrong.
Drink.
Did any of you know anything about this Leon Schutzer fellow?
No, I've never heard of him, but to answer your question, Dietrich, that you would ask about Mr. Kramer, when I knew him, he was up and coming. He was on the verge of great success as an artist, and he kind of threw it all away.
I wonder if that was before or after Magda. It sounded as though their relationship was not exactly beneficial.
If he is like anything, if he is like any of Max's past hookups and marriage, including me, is probably a little shit.
Well, regardless of his talent, I can probably find someone who'd be willing to buy his work. I know people with terrible taste.
But this Leon fellow, I don't know where the committee looks to find who they.
He's probably good.
People, but they're certainly not looking my direction. I'll tell you that.
He's probably just someone who wrote one nice piece, and they're like, "Oh, we'll promote this asshole."
Well, he read stuff as one of the other people, and yeah, he just say that there have been so many great poets in the world, and he's just mediocre. And maybe technically he's the best in Hamburg right now, and that's about it.
Or maybe he's
But-
just the figure who upsets the fewest people, but matches the most items on a checklist.
So most of the people are filing out. It has stopped raining outside. It's a little chillier, but it's not unpleasant. The nightlife in Hamburg in this area is fairly vibrant. There are a lot of clubs. There are bars open. There you can hear music playing. It's a little park-like in this area, and there's the Binnen Ulster, which is one of the man-made lakes that's there. You can go in either direction, and your hotel's not that far away. 5 minutes walk or 10 minutes walk at the most. Or you can get a cab and go home if you want to.
Miller,
Yes?
would you care to go for a bit of an after party?
Oh, is the sky blue? Hell yeah.
It's black right now.
Well, it's normally blue.
I could do that whiskey was very good that I just had, but I could do it more.
Oh, I've heard of this little place called the Safe Word. That sounds like an interesting place.
It's across from my hotel. I'm afraid we're not going to get any sleep tonight. Zika Heights Vort. What kind of name is that for a nightclub?
Well, I could go into detail, but you make me not for a polite conversation around here.
Well, let's head on there, Mr. Miller.
We're walking that way.
Mhm.
Any chance that I'll see any of you at the Cafe Bluebell tomorrow afternoon?
I think so.
For me, yes.
Yes, of course. It would be. I'm curious to know what's going on with Matt.
Yes, I'm in no rush to get back to Berlin.
Heinz, will you be joining us?
Oh, I think yes. I think I'd like to make the most of my stay in Hamburg.
Okay. So you walk casually down. You're walking along the area near the river. It was a river, and then it was turned into a lake. You're walking along the Binnen Ulster. You're heading towards Dietrich's hotel. You pass a number of places that look really nice as you're going along. Dieter, as you're walking with everybody, and you guys are all, laughing and enjoying each other's company, Dieter, you sort of on the back of your neck, you get this sort of tingling sensation. You keep looking back and looking around, and you get the odd, because it's dark, because there's not very many people around as you're going. There's people in the clubs, but on the street, there's not so many people. You get the weird feeling that you're being watched. And the farther you go on, as you're walking on, the more you get the feeling that somebody's got their eyes on you.
Okay, I'm definitely now observing the situation.
Okay, do you want to roll?
That's 12. So that's just one.
That's one question.
So this is obvious. What is being hidden from me? Because I am on the ball here.
So as you guys are getting to the turn to go down the street where Dietrich is and the nightclub is there, Dieter, you're looking around, and what you are seeing is a dark city. A lot of people have gone to bed, so a lot of the lights on the hotels are down. You can see that everything is still wet because it was raining earlier. You can see the reflection of, street lights in the ground. You can see things that are wet, the reflections on them, and you're sort of putting it all together in your mind. The street lights, you can see the red glow of the street lights and things, and the green glow, and there's something about the green glow, and you look over, and on a building across and on the roof, there's somebody up there with night vision goggles. And they're looking in your direction. And when you notice and look up at them, they quickly go away. Know where they went.
Everyone will hear me go, oh shit.
What is it?
Is that an order or a request?
Don't worry. All of you'll notice my hand has kind of gone under my shirt. Most of you will probably know that I have my gun on me. I think we're fine. Just make sure your hotel rooms are locked tonight.
All right, that's the.
I have a strange feeling. Something is not right.
Well, normally, I'm used to being the one trying to make everybody feel uneasy.
Well, let's keep moving. But Dieter, maybe you could tell me a little bit more about this, but away from here.
Yes, that is. I don't want to speak about it out in the open. I'm just looking.
Who is ahead as you're getting to the safe word club?
I'm quite.
Since I know exactly where it is, I'm probably toward the front.
Okay. Now, as you're approaching the safe word, you do see there is, a guy letting people in. What do you call him? A bouncer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's dressed in leather, and he is a big, large fellow. It's leather with studs and things. You can hear the boom, 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 boom of music inside. So you have a pretty good idea what kind of club this is. You still want to go in?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But before I do, where the building that guy was on, what did the building look like? What?
It's just one of many. There's a lot of tall buildings. Yeah, it's probably a hotel or a.
Okay. So go through my head, even if I went to follow him or whatever, he would have been long gone before I even got there.
Right.
That's why I didn't need to act on it, because he's Dieter's.
You definitely all notice that Dieter is like suddenly very skittish.
But he still wants to go into this place because he needs to calm down.
You need booze is what you need.
That is correct.
All right. So the safe word is an S&M club. And really it comes down to being just kind of a bar. They probably do have food, and they have a lot of back rooms. It's mostly male clientele. So what would you all like to do? I mean,
I assume that Selma and I are going to, chuckle, give everyone a sort of proper good evening bow, and say, we'll see you at the Bluebell. If anything completely untoward happens, just whistle. We're just across the street.
Probably won't be whistling you'll hear, but definitely I'll make some kind of noise if there's opportunity.
Just
I will probably take my leave and see you tomorrow. Yes, there's nothing in my anatomy that will be in any way stimulated by visiting this club. But
And-
my libido has been somewhat moribund for the last few decades.
Teacher, if they're not going to let you in with that piece. If you want us to hold it for you until brunch.
Yes, that would actually be nice. So I'll discreetly
Yeah,
pass it
handkerchief to handkerchief.
Dietrich, do you tell them where your apartment is? I mean, it's across the street, but do you tell them which one it's in? The others.
Which hotel room?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, somebody. Yeah, we're in 403. If we don't hear you whistling.
I'm also taking my leave from the club when Dietrich leaves.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like my kind of scene. I mean, I would love to find weird people who would read my weird stuff that I write, but I need to do that in a place where they can actually hear talk, like so
This is where you find that
Go to
the
open mic
Berlin
night
chapter
somewhere.
of your fan club have turned out here en masse tonight.
They're all just here waiting for you.
All right.
I mean,
so
so
Ingolf, you've headed over to your apartment.
yeah, it's about a
Go
little
to
hotel
bed.
room. Yeah.
Dietrich, you are in bed. And Petra, are you doing that, or are you going to do something else?
No, I'm going to go home. Or to the hotel.
Dietrich and I are, Selma and I are going to bed after we have, a nightcap, and she often takes notes after the sort of thing about what we can move and so on. And we've got Dietrich's gun, and we know that he might ring in the next half an hour and say, "Oh, this place is not my scene." Otherwise, we'll be going to bed.
Okay, so Dieter and John, you were staying there, and are you interested in indulging anything in particular, or are you going to just drink and
I'm just drinking.
eat? Gonna eat anything?
Nope, just drink.
Okay.
I'm quite interested starting the evening with some booze. Gives an excuse to prop up the bar and then see if there's any nicely dressed young girls around.
Okay.
Not too young though.
So John and Dieter, you guys are drinking and enjoying yourselves, and there's a moment while you are, drinking or chatting somebody up, that you have this feeling that something is wrong. It's sort of a wave of something's going to happen. Something is wrong. And you then hear your stomach gurgling, and you realize, oh boy, you may have drunk too much. And you can feel it starting to work its way up.
Bathroom.
Yeah, bathroom.
So kind of oddly for everybody else in the room, both of you almost in unison, just suddenly leap to your feet and run towards the bathroom. You get there and you in fact vomit rather harshly, and a lot of the alcohol and food that you ate comes up, and you realize you don't feel well at all. Your head is kind of spinning, and your head is achy as you are sort of there. You end up together sort of cleaning your faces up and stuff, but you don't feel much better after you have done this.
I blame that salmon mousse.
Yeah.
Why the hell did they have to put that on the menu?
Salmon mousse.
And I think I don't think we can indulge in this state, my friend.
No, I really wanted to, and I've got stuff I need to do later.
The booming sound of the music is also getting very irritating.
I think we should at least go outside for a second.
Yes, it's going to be an evening alone again. Mutter, grumble, grumble.
So you guys make your way through the club. It's the lights and the everything is very, very irritating to you. You get out, you step outside into the cool night air. The air feels fresh and clean, because of the rain, and it's a little chilly. But your stomach is gurgling, and you're pretty sure that you may have way overindulged tonight. You guys gonna head back to your place, or you're almost feeling like you want to go and bother Dietrich and see if you could just crash on the floor of his, because it's right there, rather than make your way all the way back to your place, unless you want to take a cab. So what do you want to do?
I think it's time for me to call a cab and then go pray to the porcelain god for a little while.
Yes, I will get a cab. I will leave my gun in the safe hands of Dietrich for the evening.
Okay.
It's not like I don't have another gun in my apartment, on myself. So.
Do you want to share a taxi?
It will be cheaper, yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
So the two of you hop in the taxi and you're heading towards your apartment. Petra, get back to your very nice apartment hotel that you're staying in. You get upstairs and you're getting ready to climb into bed, and you realize you do have a bit of a headache. You did drink a bit tonight and so forth, and you put on your pajamas, your silk pajamas, and you climb into bed, and you lay there for maybe 10 minutes or so, and you suddenly realize that you're going to throw up.
Oh,
so
running to the
you
bathroom. Yep.
hop up and run to the bathroom, and in fact, you vomit up the contents of your stomach. And it sort of gives you that feeling like you're swimming, in for a few minutes. You feel dazed. You go back in and you lie down, but you make sure there's a trash can nearby in case you throw up again. But slowly you manage to drift off to sleep. Ingolf, you get back to your hotel room, and do you want to go straight to bed, or do you want to read, or do you want to do something?
Well, I brought a portable typewriter with me that I like to bring about something about it. It's helped me in the past to write, but I've been in such a slump that it's kind of sitting on this little battered desk in this room, and I'm going to sit at it and stare at a blank piece of paper, maybe kind of tap on a key without really making the hammer go all the way, the little finger of the typewriter actually punch a key, and sit there thinking.
Well, you don't know if it's the cheap fluorescent light or whatever that's in the room reflecting off the paper, but the glare from the paper starts to irritate you. The sound of the key hitting, it's banging in your ears. It makes you feel, really sort of uneasy. And as you sit there, once you can, like the others, you can feel your stomach sort of being queasy, and before you know it, you're running for the restroom and throwing up. How much did you drink?
How much did I drink?
Yeah.
Very, very little. I mean, after that conversation with Hans, I'm glad that I'm glad that I actually confronted him in person, but it was kind of the worst possible outcome. I have a feeling that so the night was just not going my way. There was nobody really to network with. So this whole experience has really been a big letdown. So I hadn't really been drinking or eating much of anything, kind of just trying to keep a happy face going.
So you're actually kind of surprised that you suddenly are emptying your stomach what little there was in there. You didn't drink that much, but you feel awful.
Well, I'm gonna with that. I mean, I will go look at my my meds. That's a little concerning,
right?
That I threw up right now. So
you go into your meds, and I mean, you've got a schedule that you follow, and the ones that you normally take before you go to bed, you haven't taken them yet, so you're really a few hours off, from where you should be.
No, this is such a nothing today will go right. God damn. And I'll take one and then smoke a cigarette and again sit myself back down in the chair and just
okay. Yeah, the cigarette smoke suddenly starts to get to you very badly and makes you nauseous.
All right, I'll stop that because I really don't want to throw up my pill. So
you think you might just be really tired.
Yeah, that's about time to call it.
Dietrich, your wife is holding your head as you are throwing up the contents of your evening's food into the sink. There, honey. It's okay. She seems fine.
Part of me is suspicious that she's being so solicitous. And part of me is trying to, that horrible sweat that comes with everything going backwards, just, white knuckling onto the porcelain. Like, I don't think that we had to have matched each other drink for drink. And, wiping off and gulping some sink tap water, I'm going to be like, do you think that did you not touch the salmon? Like,
oh, she said, no, the salmon was delicious. So was the venison.
I don't know why this should, I guess I'll just, hold down as much water as I can. And if it keeps coming up, I'll send her to bed at some point and just, walk on my heels.
I mean, after a little bit of time, I mean, you guys kind of start to feel well enough that, you can at least lay down. And you must have emptied everything out of your stomach by now. So there's not much more that can come up. You've drank some water to, make sure you stay hydrated, everything. But yeah, you guys either overindulged it, or maybe like you said, there was something in the salmon. But curious to know tomorrow if everybody is also sick. Maybe it could be everybody in the whole venue ends up getting sick. One of those things that makes it into the newspaper.
Golden Plaque Award winner Leon Schutze vomits up his own spleen.
Yeah,
because of the injustice of our arts situation in modern Deutschland. Hopefully that'll be the morning paper.
So eventually you guys manage to go to sleep. John, you have certain techniques that you use in preparing for sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You find it difficult to concentrate on what you need to do mainly because of the stomach thing. You seem to be a bit distracted. But eventually you think that you might sort of have a handle on it, and you find yourself somewhere. It feels like it's very dark, and you yourself don't feel full-sized. It's an odd feeling. It's like you're very small in a very big place, and you can feel what feels like a hardwood floor underneath you. So you're barefoot, but you can't see anything. And that's when you start to hear noises off in the distance. And they become more startling after a few moments, and you begin backing up. And as you do, you hit a wall, and you move along the wall into a corner, and you feel like you need to curl up in that corner because something is there. Something is menacing, and it's trying to get you. And you start thinking about insect legs, and you awake with a start, and you're pretty sure it's about 4 a.m. There is kind of red light coming through your windows. You feel awful. You don't exactly feel like you're going to throw up, but you feel hot, like you've got a fever, and you're sweating profusely as you wake up. What would you like to do?
Throw myself in a cold shower and turn on the lights all over the place and make sure there's nothing crawling around in there.
You get up, you look around. You don't see anything in your room, but you say you go in to take a cold shower. You get in to take the shower, and it's very cold, the water. It makes you, in fact, it gives you the shivers, which now you've got the shivers, and you've got a fever, and you're uncomfortable, and it's cold, and you don't feel like things are right. Everything seems a little off. The colors of things and the smells. There seems to be some weird, sweet smell in the air, and it's as if the colors have bled out of the world for a bit. Like you feel like you're going to pass out. You feel dizzy. You lean against things, and you don't know what's wrong with you. You feel like you are very ill.
I'm wondering, does it feel like I am actually awake?
Well, do a perceive the situation, observe a situation.
Yeah,
do that.
Yeah, that is perception. Oh, not too bad. 13. So middle of the road.
Okay.
I got one question.
Well, your question is, are you asleep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You walk across the room, and you go over to the window, and the light outside is red. You throw open the curtains, and when you do, the landscape outside seems to have changed. The buildings across the street are damaged. There's a red light shining in the sky, and the cars down below on the street are all damaged and dilapidated. It's like you're looking into a post-apocalyptic world, and you see it, and it's terrifying, and you take a step back and you blink your eyes, and it's gone. It's just the window, and it's the night time. It's still dark outside. And you just sort of feel like you're reeling, from that something's really wrong with you. Like you've got a fever or you're having hallucinations. So maybe you were dreaming up until this moment. Or sleepwalking.
Somewhere in between the two.
Somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and force myself fully awake, because this does not sound particularly safe.
Okay. All of the rest of you, if you manage to go to sleep, you have very similar dreams. You seem to be trapped somewhere. You seem to be in the dark. You seem to be diminished and helpless. You're unable to help yourself, and nobody's coming to help you. And when you finally wake in the morning, you are very feverish. You're not doing well. It's like Dietrich, your wife, says that you must have the flu or something very much like it. She doesn't seem to be sick, though she's staying now away from you and washing her hands a lot. What would any of you like to
do? Dieter, before he has a cold shower, he's just gonna, because obviously he's not feeling well, but because of the events of last night, he's gonna check everywhere where he put a gun in his. He placed 2 guns in his hotel room, one under a table, like taped under, and then one by it in a bedside drawer. He's just gonna make sure they're still there.
You go to check for your guns, and they're still there. And as you are checking for your guns, you have that weird feeling that somebody is watching you, even though you're in a room where your window is open, the curtains are open, but somebody is.
I go into my drawer, I get the gun out, I make sure it's got ammo in.
It does.
And then I look out the window.
Okay. You look out the window, and you are, what floor of the building are you on?
Maybe 4th.
4. So you're looking down, you're 4 stories up, but you've got a good view of the street outside. There is a van that seems out of place. I mean, you don't know what's in place, but there are vehicles downstairs, there are cars here and there. But why is there a van? And why is it an unmarked van?
Yeah, for the Dieter right now, after seeing Russians at the event last night, he knows how some Russian gangs operate. So if that might be what he's jumping to the conclusion of why it's an unmarked van, but he's also curious because if it's not them, who is it? Why were they on if it's the same people as the person on that rooftop, why?
You still feel sick. You feel feverish. You feel achy all over. So standing there looking out the window is not comfortable after a few minutes. But the longer you look at that van, the longer nobody comes out of the building and gets in, the longer nobody drives off in it, the longer it just sits there staring at you. And you don't know why. But then again, you might just be paranoid.
Yeah, I could be just most likely. I am going to the shower, having a cold shower. My gun is within arm's reach.
You close the window, the curtains.
No, I don't. Because I'm,
You want to be able to see?
yeah,
All right. So you go in and you take your shower. It doesn't offer you much relief. It washes the sweat off, but you still feel achy and ill. As you step out of the shower, you grab a towel, you wrap it around yourself, and you start heading towards the room. And just as you step into the room, there is someone hanging from straps upside down outside your window with goggles. And your gun's not in your hands when you're getting out of the shower.
it's true. I'll erupt, but I will.
You
Said it's an arm's reach.
you dive for your gun and turn to shoot, and there's nobody there.
What the fuck? What the fuck of it? To myself, it found. It's literally tapping. He takes out the mag and just.
Petra, you are not feeling well this morning, and you order some breakfast from room service, and they bring it to you, and you just can't eat it. And you've had some of your mail forwarded to you in where you're staying, and there are a couple of letters from various like your financial stuff and stuff from your bank and stuff like that. It's been opened.
Just can't. Hotel staff can't get any good staff these days. I'm going to speak to a manager about this.
You would, except that you feel awful.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm going to take a ginger ale and some saltines and sit out on the balcony and hope the morning air
The morning air sort of gets to you.
Yeah.
All right. As you step out onto the balcony with your ginger ale and you're drinking it, the flavor seems way off. And you look down at it and it's not off yellow, it's red. And you are shocked. I mean, it doesn't taste like strawberry. It tastes kind of coppery, like blood. You put it down. You're upset. You can still feel that you have a fever, and it's ginger ale again. Without doing everyone, this continues this morning. You realize that instead of getting better, you're going through like waves of it. And suddenly, you're very ill again. You're running to the bathroom. You've got mild diarrhea. And all you want to do, you feel achy and tired, and all you want to do is climb into bed. And Dietrich, it's you that your wife comes in and says, how are you doing? You feel like you were asleep. She gently sort of wakes you up. And as she does, you realize that it's dark outside.
Tell me, what time is it?
It's 6 p.m.
Oh, I still feel like death. You're fine?
Yes, I don't seem to have any of the symptoms. You must have caught a bug from someone, but I'm using
yes,
hand sanitizer around you. So
what the hell is that?
91, they had hand sanitizer.
She's always been a little bit OCD. So, uh, in my jacket from last night, there's a card for Magda. We were supposed to see her today.
Oh yeah.
You should call and apologize.
I'll call.
Yeah, please. And maybe some tomato juice.
I can order that.
Dry toast. I don't. And if I don't feel better enough in the morning, I guess we'll see a doctor, because this is I can't sleep and I'm still hot. Oh, it's
Well,
hell.
I've called your shop and I've told, we'll assume you have a couple of employees, that you're ill and that the shop will be closed for a couple of days.
I would like to, because I don't entirely trust my wife, I'm going to try to observe the situation more completely and see whether she knows something that she's not telling me.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make any sense. We always have the same everything. 12 plus 2 is 14. So
Okay. You can ask one question.
that's the top one. Is there any way that I could have communicated something that she didn't? Is what I'm trying to figure out. Is there anything that I ate or drank that she didn't eat or drink? Or, is there any way that somebody could have slipped me a Mickey and not her in this little, in the party last night? Because we're kind of near each other.
No, you can't really think of anything. I mean, you guys were all together. Now, once again, you don't know that anybody else is ill.
Right. No, I just know that, that Selma and I should be in the same boat. Like, where did I get the flu that she didn't
Right.
get? And it was so, it doesn't feel like a flu. This feels like a poisoning or.
Well, it really does feel like the flu too. You feel achy and you feel nauseous and you feel feverish. And it could be just the flu. It's just a nasty. Maybe you got it before yesterday and it just started to manifest itself today.
Yeah. All right. But there's nothing that makes me feel that anything is
really
unnatural, except that it's
correct. It just feels lousy. And you can make it feel a little better once in a while, but it seems to come back. Maybe you feel a little better than you did, but you're certainly not throwing up, every 5 minutes.
You run out of stuff to throw up after all. But it feels more like radiation poisoning than like the flu. Like it's just endless, which makes me feel paranoid.
So all of the rest of you have had somewhat of a similar day. You've lost track of time. You've not noticed that the day has just worn on, and suddenly it's 6 p.m. at night and you've missed your lunch with Magda, and you just, I'm sure she'll understand, but Dietrich, if you are drifting off, your wife comes in a little later and she says that she's tried to contact Magda, but she just gets the answering machine.
She didn't look so, you agree, she didn't look so well, right?
Well, I don't know that she was ill, but she looked old.
All right, but if she's weak with something and she got the same thing that I got, maybe she's.
Well, there you go. She did kiss you all, and
yeah.
I barely shook her hand.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, we should call your friends and see if they are also feeling ill.
Yeah, well, you call your little author friend, the goth boy, and see how he is. I need to go back to the bathroom.
So Ingolf, you get a call from Dietrich's wife. Ingolf, dear, this is Dietrich's wife. I can't submit.
Zelma.
Selma. Yes.
Zelma.
How are you feeling, dear? Dietrich wasn't able to make it today because he's sick.
Oh, yeah, that was I have been feeling so awful. Wish you'd be calling under better circumstances than this, but I have been sick all day. Last
sick
night
too.
and into today. Is Dietrich ill?
He's quite ill, yes. We were thinking the flu or maybe something you ate last night, but I ate the same thing and I don't seem to be affected.
I didn't need to eat anything. I barely ate or drank anything.
I wonder about our other friends. Why don't you call around and see if you know where they are?
I think one of them is in the same hotel. I'll go check on him. Thank you for your call.
Okay.
And
So
I'll
in
go down the hall of my cheap hotel and probably go to John.
You barely get down there and you bang on the door.
Oh, who's pounding?
Sorry. Don't mean to pound. Are you feeling ill yourself?
I disagreed with something that ate me. Oh.
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm sick. Dietrich is sick. Sounds like you're sick. I wonder if Dieter and Petra and the Heinz are also sick.
I think that we ate something that, was particularly horrible last night, because I don't normally feel like this. There certainly was not booze.
All right, well, I'm going to try to get back to my room alive. If you know how to contact any of the others, if you would be so kind.
I haven't got a clue where they are, apart from the hotel across from the place where we were.
All right, well. Good day to you.
What's left of it?
Yeah, good evening, I suppose.
It's probably
Of course,
then.
The professor is also included in all of this as well, obviously. The internet went down, but we figured this is just this part, so we went ahead and did it anyway. So you find yourself staying once again in your respective hotel rooms for the evening. You think maybe by late evening you're feeling a little better, but your dreams are once again very dark, trapped, diminished, as if you were unable to escape, and something is there in the dark that is working its way towards you, and you can't escape. And you wake with a start in the morning, and you're sweating and you're uncomfortable, but maybe after 2 days, you're feeling a little better, at least a little stronger. You're feeling like you might be able to make it today, to get back home if that's what you want to do. John, the phone rings in your apartment, I keep saying apartment, hotel room, at about 9 a.m.
There's an ungodly hour. Ugh.
Rings. What you want to do?
I'm gonna stop it from ringing. I'll pick it up.
A woman's voice on the other end. Is this John Miller?
This is he, or at least what's left of him at the minute.
You think you recognize the voice, and she says, "Yes, this is Irene Adler. We were at the party the other night. Remember?"
Oh, I remember. Please don't tell me you ate whatever dodgy food we ate. I've been feeling as sick as a dog ever since.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, no, I'm fine. Have you seen Magda Orlova?
Other than that, she was there at the end of the party.
So
We were supposed to meet up with her afterwards, but like I said, I've been praying to the porcelain god ever since.
So you didn't, you weren't able. How was any of you able to meet with her? Do you have any idea where she is?
I have no idea, other than that we were supposed to meet at insert name of restaurant here or cafe, but God knows how. Yeah, I just slept the whole day.
Well, I've been friends with her for quite a while, and we were supposed to meet for breakfast, and she never showed up. And I've been trying her apartment, but I've gotten no answer. She was very excited about meeting you the other night. She told me all about the evening when she got home. She called me. She seemed in high spirits, but I haven't seen her or heard from her since then.
No, pretty much the same. That I say we were supposed to meet her, but I still feel pretty delicate even now.
Oh, that's very sad to hear. Would you perhaps be willing to meet maybe later this morning? We can, if you can get in contact with some of your friends, perhaps one of them has seen her.
Sure. I mean, I know at least where at least one or two of them are staying. I can try and ring the front desk and see if they'll put me through.
There's a little Cafe du Mont. It's right near the center of town. Yes, say we meet at 11. Would that work?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, as long as I don't mind someone sat there just ordering water, because that's pretty much all I feel like I'm going to be able to keep down.
All right. I'll see you then.
Uh-huh. And I will attempt to make contact with the others, knowing that Dietrich was in the hotel opposite the club. Call the front desk, obviously try to get through to his room and try and spread the word through him.
All right. So we'll say that everybody gets the message. And that is probably a good spot to finish for tonight. You will meet Irene Adler at the Cafe du Mont next week when we play. Our players included Matthew Sanderson, David Gasway, Holly Buteau, Morgan Llewellyn, Josh Harwood, and Mick Swan with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have.
So after each session, the players answer the following questions. Have we discovered anything new about the truth?
No, I don't believe so. We don't. We have glimpses of things, but we have not compared notes and realized that we're all really suffering the same thing and the same visions or whatever. So I don't think we have any real knowledge of anything new.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Have we learned anything new about our characters?
And that's a one-on-one basis, more or less.
These are individual.
You learned about yourself, a new thing.
Nothing that I already didn't know, because he was already slightly paranoid anyway, so it'd be a no.
Yeah.
Right, and last one of these three. Have we challenged ourselves?
You
It feels a
tried
little
not to
status
throw up.
quo. It feels a little status quo for me anyway. Not really doing anything.
I tried to do something, but bloody stomach bug wouldn't let me.
Once I've challenged myself because I've been acting as how Dieter would as a security. I don't think it's much of a challenge. So no.
Right. So no.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that's 0. So no experience in the main questions for us. Dramatic hooks that we established last week. Have any of us tried to do any of them?
I drank my whiskey.
I confronted Hans Zauer about the English translation for Requiem for Isabel. So
Made a connection with Nicholas Grassel.
I tried to go to have a one-night stand at the nightclub, but didn't really fulfill the other one, reveal any juicy goings on behind the scenes at the event.
I didn't make any contacts, so I didn't do my second one. But my first one, drink a whiskey.
I also wanted to tell people about my books, but that didn't really happen. There was not really much opportunity for that. So
Yeah, I don't think I can really say that I placated Selma or made a business connection either.
Well, you kind of did. You took her to a place and she got to see a movie star and was incredibly happy.
Okay, I'll take 1 point for that. If it's, I mean, it is, I think Selma's going to be out of the scene pretty soon. So maybe it's a good time to use that as a hook point.
Okay, so sounds like we've all got one of our 2 hooks that we've successfully used then. So each of us gets 1 experience because for the 1 hook that we individually fulfilled. Now we have to deal with the hooks for next time. So we've got 1 slot available because we've each completed 1. I know I certainly will ditch my other one because it's now no longer relevant because it was tied to the event. So I've got the 2 slots free. Tom will assign 1, and then everyone else collectively thinks of another one for me. And then likewise, we do this going around everyone else for any free slots that you've got left. So it's very much a collaborative effort.
I'll be ditching my second one, so I'll have 2 slots.
Can the one that I give be the same for everybody?
Yeah, it's individually given to everyone else.
So I give the 1, and then if you've got another slot, you can give the other, or you can get rid of 1.
The other players collaboratively
give.
Yeah.
So I think the one that is most important is to find out what happened. How did you all get ill? What's the common link?
And now we have to, so collectively for John first.
Or whoever. Yeah, if anyone's got an idea for someone, then throw it out there and then the rest can kind of go, yay, nay.
Ditching? Are we all ditching our second one?
Yeah, because mine was also kind of tied to the event. I wanted to schmooze about my books and that didn't happen. So
yeah, it should be something that the character actively has to try and do to be able to. Yeah, you don't have to succeed; you just have to try. I personally, I'd like to see Petra go full Karen on the front desk. So.
Yeah, find out who opened your mail.
Open my fucking mail.
Yeah,
there you go. Find out who. I should find out who the fuck opened my. Had the audacity.
Petra Karen Ziegler.
Okay, let's see. Should we tie Dieters in with the people that seem to be following him? I don't know, but it has to be actionable, right? So we don't want to give him something impossible.
Yeah, confront whoever's following him.
But I'm worried about that because it doesn't seem like he can. Like he looks one way and then they're gone. Like I don't want to give him something he actually can't do.
But he could try. That's about
try to do.
Try to confront who seems to be following.
Which is what I am technically doing because I do keep trying to confront, so it is doable.
Alternatively, for Dieter, it could be find out what happened to Magda because he has the strongest connection to her.
Likely, yeah.
Not necessarily. No. He slept with her 30 years.
30,
Oh,
30
yeah, it has
years
been
ago.
30 years. Okay, I'll give you that then. All right.
Probably Dietrich might have the closest tie because of the bookstore thing, but that itself was years ago. So
Yeah, we were in and out of touch over. I didn't even know she lived here, so we haven't been.
it's interesting because when we created the characters, one of the options would have been to be related to her, but none of you
Oh,
chose
that's
that.
right. Yeah, her child or something like that.
So
Yeah. Well, since John has the connection to the woman we're meeting, could John's be something about at least find out more about what's going on with Magda? It doesn't necessarily have to be find out where Magda is. That might not be achievable, but like find out more about what's going on with Magda.
I've got a way I could potentially do that, assuming my
Okay.
stomach bug doesn't get in the way again. So yeah, I'll go with that.
And then am I just going to go with confront?
Confront. Yeah.
Front your
Front who's
pursuers.
following you.
Right, and that's a mechanic question for me. Can we suggest that he confront his pursuers when we as characters don't know he has pursuers,
Yeah.
or are we as
This-
players suggesting?
Yeah,
This
it's
is
out.
players.
It's players.
Metagaming. Okay.
You know, built in. Good.
It's a way
It's
to make the
interesting
whole
that again
game
being-
interactive.
yeah, whole game.
All right.
Because it's all a story-driven game. It's not dice heavy. The GM doesn't roll. We barely roll. It's
No.
all just.
I'm still short a hook.
And so is
And
Morgan.
Ingolf is missing a hook. I'm
And we
missing-
need to
You're-
make
you're-
one for Heinz as well.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we do.
that's what we were looking for. I was looking for.
With
did he
Morgan,
s-
you
did he
you have the
succeed?
tie to Philip Kramer, although that's kind of we kind of like mentioned furthering that with him, but I don't. It seems
He
kinda
like he for he was like an acquaintance. Like I met him once.
right.
You know,
Okay.
forever ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's decide for Mick. His dramatic hooks were confront, embarrass, or Gordon leverage. He definitely started to do that
He confronted him
from
That's
across
true.
the
That's
room.
right.
indirectly. He upset
Yeah.
him.
But yeah,
And
he
I-
disrupted his evening.
And as a
Yeah.
scene, I bought it as it was described. Like I'm just
Yeah.
staring at him mercilessly, and he's like, "No, I don't want to." So I think he got part
Yeah.
of that.
Okay, so he passed that one. The other one's win an award. So my guess is he'll drop that one.
There was only the one award.
Right.
So again, so he has to find out how we all got sick.
Yeah. The three of you. I'm trying to think.
I think I could always have that one because you had that the fella look at you across the room. Maybe find him and ask what. Maybe not. Yeah, kind of confront him as to say, what was all that about?
Was that the painter who stared at you?
Yeah, it was. Well, it wasn't only. It was Philip Kramer who stared at me, but there were two other people with him who also did. Like he told somebody else, and then he looked at me, and then he told somebody else, and they all looked at me.
Yeah, and
It was
in
just-
the presumed future that we talk about things, like those are the three guys who like left suddenly, and then she came over, and then we all got sick. So
Yeah, something's weird with those three people, and I don't know how to follow up on that. Like, other than
but if we're assigning each other things and nobody's got the assignment find Magda, should I just like shoot that at
Matt
Petra?
kind of has that.
I've got to
Right,
find out
like,
what
yeah.
happened to her.
Oh, okay, right.
There's no reason why other people can't have the same hooks because we can end up
That's
pairing
true.
up together and doing the same thing.
That's true.
let's see it. But for Dietrich,
But it could be something a little bit more mundane, right? Assuming we're all going back to Berlin in the next episode after. Well, it's an assumption, though. That is an assumption.
I mean, as a dramatic hook for, Dietrich, you had one trying to placate Zelma, but I don't know if you want to like distance yourself from her or get time for yourself because she's.
I mean, getting Zelma out of the situation so that I could address it might be
She could
very
go
much
back
in keeping.
and run the shop while you're sick.
Yeah. But then you've undone the dramatic hook. You've just solved it.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Which, it was within your power, but like you're thinking of a different gaming structure when you say that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like-
managing Zelma is still in the cards. Like, do I want to send her back to Berlin? Do I want to keep her here with me? Like, you know.
I mean, it depends on how there's of Dietrich. If you're trying to salvage a relationship or keep it going, then maybe you want to keep her close. But if you're looking for distance, or you feel distant, or you need time for yourself, you feel like overwhelmed by it, that maybe you do want to send her off.
You could just have it as decide what to do with her as your dramatic hook, almost.
Well, also Matt said we can share, right? So like maybe a couple of us could hop on the Magda train, because it might take multiple people's like resources / contacts, to track that all down. Might be kind of a lot just for Matt to do on his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we can all try it in different ways. Like I've got a particular way I'm thinking of.
Well, yeah. What if I were to assign, as it were, to Petra, like find out what Magda is worth to us?
Okay.
Like learn how we can tap Magda as dark capitalists. Because whether she's missing or dead or whatever, we don't know what her story is, but she has had connections to all of these things over time.
It's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Would that be a hook for Dietrich, finding out what value Magda has to him? Or is that more Petra specific?
Could be both of us. And is the dream thing tied in with the illness thing? Like, could that be someone's thing as well? Like, how are these dreams tying to because obviously it's similar to what Magda experienced too.
Right.
So something
She
along those
described a
lines.
dream,
like,
and
how
then
do
we
these
all had
dreams
it.
kind of affect, like, tied us to Magda or something like that? I don't know. That's kind of vague, but
Well, I mean, my character has some stuff with dreams, which I don't know. Kind of felt like I was getting away with something. I have nightmares. But then we all had nightmares, and so it's like, I feel like I'm getting away with something. Everybody gets my disadvantage today.
Enjoy it while it lasts, kiddo.
I know, it's gonna one of these days it will just be me, and it will be terrible.
so
I was
maybe
gonna- I was going to say to you, Ingolf, that this wasn't the kind of dream that would turn into a book. It just seemed
Yeah, no, it
awful.
it was weird. I mean, in the sense of the nightmares I tend to have, this was weird.
that was going to be my suggestion. Actually, darn, I was going to say
Oh.
Ingolfs can find a way to take these weird dreams and spin them into a book or a book idea, but.
Uh-huh.
There you go. That's you should develop your nightmares into a story.
Yeah, but it's difficult for a dramatic hook, because that's what my
kind of a
character
long
does
term,
anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Also,
could it be
super actable.
investigate the dream? Like, you could always like look into dream interpretations or talk to someone who, knows that kind of thing.
So I mean, find out how we all got sick. Because it's hard for me to say explore the communal dream experience, because I think Ingolf will be very intrigued by that, because I mean, he has weird nightmares all the time. But the fact other people have the same weird nightmare that he did all at the same time, that's fascinating. But it's hard for that to be dramatic hook for him right now, because he doesn't know that yet.
Well, but
I don't know how these operate.
Can you set it like that? Like, as a player, that, and we're all going to talk about it.
I'm on the verge of finding this out.
episode.
I just don't know right now.
You could have it
I think
as
that
you should
works.
investigate the dreams.
Okay, I'll put that down.
Yeah, I think that works.
Because these can also hang over from session to session if you don't ditch them.
Mick might be interested in that one too, actually. He's a professor. I don't know. Just he wasn't here for the dreams. But he had them. And we need to figure out Dietrich.
You're muted.
And on that front, I wonder, as the only partnered character in this story, is this where we take advantage of the mechanism to shed the partner? Or,
So
do we want to...
You should finish your relationship with your wife.
I mean, it works, and you get like it only happens once. You get to do it, and then it's like other things.
And then I changed my dramatic hook real fast to a pick up Zelma, and now that she's
Hey.
We discussed this in session 0.
I know.
You rogue.
I know. You hinted at it for sure when you asked me if I was lecherous or not.
Yeah.
But I said no. I mean, that's
But
sort
also,
of Ingolf.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if David, if you want to go with end your relationship with Selma or however, I mean that's something you actually have to role play through in the next scenario anyway. So why not?
The question is, I mean, like she's sort of that part of my character is like, Peter Parker's Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a thing that it's not it's a burden and a benefit, and it's part of the character.
Okay, so you don't.
If I write it out, on like immediately, then I've kind of short-circuited the purpose of it. But I also am thinking like it's annoying to have an NPC around ghosting all the time, like just being.
I figured you'd just send her back to Berlin and we'd move on with the.
Right, but that wouldn't count as a dramatic hook for me.
Right. Yeah.
Like she'd still be there, and the premise of the characters, the premise of my character of Dietrich and Zelma is that they are both like they're able to maintain their lifestyle only by sticking together. Otherwise, they'd have left because they're no longer in love.
So you kind of work in rare books. Could you and Ingolf kind of work together on the whole dream thing? Like maybe you could find some rare books on that kind of thing, or I don't know, maybe not.
I'm already looking for interesting and weird books with different people for different reasons. I don't think it's impossible either. So one thing is that what made it sell. The other thing is where did my friend go is fine, and Selma can come and go regardless. Like what the hell happened to Magda?
Yeah.
Or what is maybe something more specific, like what was Magda involved with, so that it's a little bit of a different.
Yeah, that's different. Because it's like, what is she worth to us? What happened to her? And then yours is, what is she involved in?
That I kind of assigned that to myself. Is that cheating?
No, because we were having a hard time thinking of something for you, so I think that works.
Consensus. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Consensus.
Mick, we need to take care of Mick.
Well, since he's not here, we can ask him next week, just before.
Yeah, just give him a chance to speak for himself.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you, Tom.
This is going to be interesting. I like the dynamic because you guys give me things to work with in the story to work with you, which is nice. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the strange and terrifying world of KULT Divinity Lost role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.